Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is amazing.
It's my pleasure.
Awesome. So talk to us a little bit about how did you get your start in the business?
Well, it was really from a side gig in my life, because I was an engineer working for Imperial at the time, so I was construction coordinator. But had always worked in the restaurant industry as a kid. My dad had a restaurant. My brother worked in the industry, and always enjoyed the hospitality. So my brother and I opened up a place called PM Toronto next to Maple Leaf Gardens, and it was the start of what would be my second career in the hospitality business.
Wow, that's amazing. And so then how did you sort of branch out and, well, not branch out, but how did you come to, Liberty Entertainment Group and sort of putting that together?
Well, when we first started PM Toronto next to Maple Leaf Gardens, it was the first sports bar of its kind. At the time, nobody had TVs in restaurants or pool tables. We were next to obviously Maple Leaf Gardens, one of the most prolific sports venues in Canada for sure. And we'd have people coming in wanting to see what was going on next door at the Gardens when they couldn't get tickets, because it was always difficult, as it is today, to get tickets, and people to wander down trying to buy tickets from scalpers, wanting to watch games. So in that natural progression, you put up TVs and the people are there for 2 hours watching a game. Now they're give them more things to do, like putting in a pool table. And what happened organically was this development of a sports central for Toronto. But what was so nice was that we became friends with the Toronto Maple Leafs, all the players, Doug Gilmour, Wendell Clark, Todd Gill. All of those players would actually come to the restaurant regularly. And so much so that we created a special room just for them. It was a VIP, and only players and our guests could get in. And it was just, really a natural progression of a restaurant concept, which became iconic in the city. And with that, we learn how to develop iconic venues. And from there, we opened up the Phoenix Concert Theatre, one of the most iconic concert venues in Canada today as well. And I opened that in 1992.
Wow.
And it's been running, for a club to run that many years, and other ones like the Velvet Underground still exist today. That's operated by Live Nation. I opened that one back in 1993.
Incredible.
So we learned early in my career how to deal with celebrity, because when Wendell Clark or Todd Gill or Gilmore would come into the restaurant, we'd have to understand how to manage the celebrity, how to manage the fans, and we did that quite well right from the beginning.
Amazing. That's incredible. So then how did the Drake opportunity come around at your Blue Blood restaurant in Casa Loma?
Well, again, understanding how to deal with celebrity and the nuances of actually having them in your restaurant. Drake would be comfortable coming to our other restaurants and visiting Chibo, visiting Blue Blood, and knew that he can come into our environment and our restaurants and be comfortable, knowing that we would obviously take care of his privacy. And he loved Blue Blood Steakhouse. Who wouldn't? Who doesn't want to have their birthday in a castle? An iconic person like Drake having his birthday in a castle when we first opened Blue Blood was fantastic. We typically wouldn't close the restaurant for just a regular birthday, but for Drake, he had quite the soiree, and it was a phenomenal event, and helped us really launch Blue Blood in the market, because he obviously was one of those prolific stars. Everybody was talking about it. It went viral and helped us launch Blue Blood at Casa Loma.
Amazing. Yeah. And I love Blue Blood. I've been there a couple of times for dinner, and I love it when they make the Caesar salad right at your table. I love that. But I love being in Casa Loma as well. And so talk to us a little bit about how that opportunity came about. Because for people listening, I'm not sure if you've been in the summertime at Casa Loma. What you guys have done is amazing.
Well, Casa Loma was an opportunity that came to us through the city. It's a city-owned property. The city was operating the castle when we took possession, and the city was obviously not in the hospitality business, and didn't have the wherewithal to operate such a iconic hospitality and tourism attraction. They were losing money, I think to the tune of $2 to $3 million a year when they decided they were not going to do this any longer and put it out an RFP, which is a request for proposal. And we as an organization thought this was iconic. It was the right kind of venue for us. We were more in hospitality. We had the Liberty Grand, which did main large events through the city, like TIFF and so on, weddings. So it was a very large property. So we knew we had the capacity to take on a large property like this, but we had never done anything in tourism. But in my mind, it wasn't any different than what we were doing at the Phoenix Concert Theater, create events for people to come to. And so, it was a struggle because, we took on a property. It was a $12 million investment at the time to refurbish the castle because it had no heating or air conditioning. So you can imagine you can't do 5-star high-level weddings or events or restaurants without air conditioning a property like Casa Loma.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first initiatives. But we believe there was more that could be done as opposed to just a place where people would come and tour during the day. We felt there was much, much more that could be done in Casa Loma to get people there all the time, and not just tourism. So what was most important, it was getting Torontonians to come and enjoy their castle.
Mm-hmm. It's true, because what I love is that how you've got, the classical music night where people can just sit outside. There's, food. There's alcohol. You can have a nice glass of wine. You've got sort of the R&B groove night. You've got the symphony night, and it's such a great experience. I absolutely love it. As you know, I've been a few times.
Well, it's always great to have you there, Davelle. The other thing we've done is looked at the calendar, a seasonal calendar, and said, what happens in the community? And right now we're running Christmas lights and the holiday at the castle. So we've created some incredible productions under the guidance of our creative director, Nadia DiDonato, but creating some great productions with the castle as the backdrop. So you can imagine having Christmas and having the Christmas trees and exposure and the artists and characters throughout, and Santa Claus in the stables at Casa Loma. So, taking a backdrop like Casa Loma and creating around it things that happen in today's society. And another one would be Legends of Horror. You'd look at the castle and say, we looked at that and said, well, Halloween is a very significant time of year for people of all ages, young and old. And we created one of the most iconic, most important Halloween productions in Canada and pretty well almost in North America. Our production competes with Universal and Canada's Wonderland, and we're Toronto's castle.
Yeah, no, I love it. We've got about 30 seconds left, but can you tell us a little bit briefly about your new venture with Kevin O'Leary and Mitch Marner?
Well, Blue Bovine Steak and Sushi House located in Union Station, a beautiful restaurant, brings me back full circle to where I started, PM Toronto next to Maple Leaf Gardens. Now I've got Blue Bovine next to Scotiabank Arena. And knowing, Mitch Marner for quite a few years and knowing how celebrity impacts the viability of a venue and how I felt that it was a great opportunity for Mitch Marner. It's a win-win, mutual benefit here because Mitch is a young gentleman who is growing his career in hockey, but he will have to have something in post-hockey. Maybe hospitality is the direction he wants to go, and fantastic. We gave him the opportunity, and he embraced it to get involved with us at Blue Bovine. Kevin O'Leary was a polar opposite. He always said he would never get involved in hospitality. And Kevin and I have been friends for over 30 years before he was even on TV. And he always said to me, what are you doing in hospitality? It's the riskiest business in the world. And I kept saying, it's what I'm doing, it's what I'm good at. And we've been pretty successful.
Awesome.
To Blue Bovine.
Amazing.
Okay.
And you've done an incredible job. I mean, your venues are amazing. So thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us this morning. We really appreciate having Nick DiDonato here from the Liberty Entertainment Group. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.